Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Central African Gold's channel. Joining us, as always, Stephen Barley, the Executive Chair. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Kyle. How are you this morning?
Living the dream, as always, and yourself.
Very good, very good.
So we have some pretty intriguing news coming out of the company. Central African Gold engages environmental consultancy and clean tech investment firm to advance carbon plan. What are you guys doing within that realm?
Well, we started looking at carbon credits about 90 days ago because we basically have a whole country to work with in the Congo where there's not very much being done on the carbon credit side. So we initially looked at the fact that we had one piece of property in Masefu Gold that's 924 square kilometers, big area, and we personally own 100% of another 6 concessions, which covers 176 square kilometers. So we have lots of real estate to work with. We looked at reforestation, deforestation as an alternative because there's really, for the Congo, there's about 10 different approaches that you could take in order to generate a carbon credit. And just for those who haven't worked with carbon credits before, basically, if you have an industry that produces a ton of carbon dioxide into the air, you can buy a ton of carbon credits to offset your production of pollutants. And with a lot of companies having targets of being sort of net neutral by 2030, 2040, or 2050, and you've probably heard some of the countries as well. I think Canada's pledging to be net neutral on carbon emissions by 2050. A very ambitious target, by the way. So we were looking initially at using our big tracts of land and doing the reforestation approach. We subsequently narrowed it down with the help of a carbon credit specialist in Africa, which is Ecometrics, which are based in Johannesburg. And Ecometrics are specialists in determining carbon credits, how you verify them, what classes they fall within. And so we're working with them, and we've recently retained the services of Energest Ventures, which is a clean tech fund out of Montreal, because just the nature of their business, clean tech investment, they have access to some technologies that will probably be very beneficial to us. So we're working with those two groups to further our business plan and business case for carbon credits. And we expect that's going to happen within the next 30 days. It may be sooner, but definitely within 30 days.
So my question for you then, are you doing this through the African government? Are they the ones introducing some of these tax credits? Are they part of the carbon feature? Or are you guys doing this as kind of like a US entity or a Canadian entity kind of doing it through those projects exactly? Can you kind of extrapolate that a little more with?
Yeah, on the carbon credits are really, they're a creature of their own. So they're not related to the government. You have carbon credit exchanges now, where companies that wish to buy carbon credits can go in and buy the credits. For example, Microsoft has pledged to be totally net neutral by 2030, going back to their beginnings. So any carbon footprint that they had since they started in the 80s, they're going to buy offsetting credits. Same as Apple. All the big companies are trying to become carbon credit, buy carbon credits to be net neutral. So there is where the demand is, and the big industries that are producing, let's assume you have a big industrial complex, you're going to be producing carbon. So they're trying to buy credits to offset the carbon, because there's going to be carbon standards. I think Canada already has them. They're going to be around the world. I think they're in 48 countries already where they're setting standards. You must reach a certain reduction by a certain time frame. So there's an active market for it. There's a number of different electronic exchanges that will cover the purchase and the sale of the credits you produce. You do not need to go through the government to do it. They have various standards. The one that's most prevalent is called the gold standard. And the gold standard sets out criteria. So you have these various standards with various tests that you must meet in order to be verified. So basically, the standards are acting as auditors to make sure that you're producing the carbon credits like you say you are and in the quantity you say you are. So there's very strict tests that you have to pass. So that's part of our process, is looking at which area of carbon credits we want to be in. Do we meet the criteria? And then on the far right-hand side, I would put ESG, so environmental social governance. And it is less numerically based. It's more, I call it more of a feel. You know, if you're doing a food program, then you're generating good ESG results. You know, if you are being net neutral on your carbon, you're generating good ESG results. And those ratings are important now for people when they're buying into companies, particularly new companies. We have narrowed our search down to 3 areas that we think will be very beneficial to us, not just from carbon credits, but also from a business opportunity perspective. The areas are industrial size solar in the 10 to 30 megawatt size, mini grids, so low voltage, direct current, solar powered grids for up to 1,000 homes or more. And the last is the efficient cook stoves. The wood burning stoves are in the Congo are extremely inefficient, cause all sorts of problems for the residents, and they just burn too much fuel, causing more pollution. So those are the 3 areas we're looking at. And the preliminary numbers are very promising for both all of those, initially as a business, so as a revenue generator, and then secondly on the carbon credit and ESG side. So it's something that started out just to investigate 90 days ago, and it's turning into a very big push for our company. And we'll be known, I guess, as a member of the Cleantech community.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, actually. I'm hoping some investors are getting some good insights out of that. As we kind of finish up here, do you guys want to talk a little bit more about the Masefu project? Anything you guys are doing kind of in the last quarter here, whether you're looking for more acquisitions or something that could be intriguing to the retail investor?
Yeah, just update on Masefu. We are now into the rainy season in the Congo. So between now and April, most people do not do any kind of exploration work. It's just too difficult to move around. You'll be stuck all the time because the roads are quite primitive, particularly in the Kasai Central province where Masefu is located. So right now it's more in the planning process. We're working with an engineering and consulting group out of South Africa, and we'll plan for what we want to do when the roads dry up in maybe early March, but usually at the end of March, early April, before conditions get back into the dry season. So that's it for Masefu. We're continually looking at new projects. We're currently looking at a large copper cobalt project that has promise. We're in the due diligence stage with that project. We've looked at numerous projects. We're being offered projects to look at all the time. Well, it takes time. We have to go through and check the numbers, particularly in the Congo. The Congo tend to overstate things, and so you have to be careful. Fortunately, we've got a lot of experience there, so we have a very good smell test now, even just on a preliminary basis, and we know who the reputable counterparties are in the DRC, and we also know who you shouldn't be doing business with. So we'll continue on that process of looking for big acquisitions.
Good to hear. In light of this, I think we got some pretty good updates. I look forward to seeing what comes down the wire here, but I appreciate your time today, Stephen.
Kyle, thank you very much. As always, pleasure talking to you.
Always a pleasure. If you guys ever have any questions, let us know what you think in the comment section below. We can bring it up to Stephen in a future interview, but stay cool, stay awesome, and we'll catch you in the next one.